Wait, what? Student loan forgiveness is upper class wealth? Okay. I'm sorry.
So she claims we can pay for this whole thing by taking money from the evil, wealthy folks and redistributing it.
But yeah, you could. That would be a way to pay it off, actually. Yeah. It would literally be a way to pay it off. You may not agree with it, but it is a solution.
Now, there is, of course, no reason at all to believe that this responsibility would ultimately land just on the wealthy.
Well, who else is going to pay for it then, buddy?
Proposals never remain as limited in practice as they were on paper, and this proposal is not even that limited on paper in the first place. Not to mention, you have all the familiar problems of further encouraging job creators to leave the country, especially now that you're advertising that you're going to force them to pick up the tab for all of the student debt in the country.
But yeah, mostly because they profit heavily off of it, right? I mean, you can just ask the schools to kind of forgive the debt. That might work too.
And you have a problem that these kinds of taxes tend to trickle down as the cost gets passed on to the working class. So that's just...
Trickle-down economics doesn't work both ways, you fucking asshole. It didn't work the other way. You don't get to switch it onto taxes. If you tax the rich too much, it trickles down to the working class. By the way, guys, I know that wasn't true the other way, but trust me, it's true this way.
The beginning of our problems, right? There are many other problems, and I want to go through them one by one, or as many as I can name in a few minutes. Number one, from a financial perspective, you are talking about doing something that will make inflation massively worse, which feeds the problem that you're supposedly trying to solve. So here's a few lines from an editorial this morning.
How does that make any sense? Making colleges free and eliminating student loan debt, even if it brings up inflation, how would it increase the problem? Schooling is free. You can't collect debt, something that's free.
On the National Review, which talks about the inflation aspect of this, the inflation of college costs is a genuine concern and one that is of especially intense interest to the federal government, which thanks to the Obama administration made itself into a monopolist in the student loan business. But Senator Warren here proposes to put out a fire with gasoline, i.e. to mitigate the effects of inflation by dumping money on the problem. In inflation-adjusted terms...
Hold on.
But Senator Warren here proposes to put out a fire with gasoline, i.e. to mitigate the effects of inflation by dumping money on the problem. College costs is a genuine concern and one that is of especially intense interest to the federal government, which thanks to the Obama administration made itself into a monopolist in the student loan business. But Senator Warren here proposes to put out a fire with gasoline, i.e. to mitigate the effects of inflation by dumping money on the problem. In inflation-adjusted terms, government spending on higher education has never been higher. It has climbed by nearly $2,000 per student since 2001. As the Foundation for Economic Education points out, Pell Grant spending alone rose 72% in the few short years from 2008 to 2013. Tuition and other expenses have risen right along with the spending, and then it goes on from there. So,
yeah, risen right along the spending at its already stupidly high rate. It's not like they were rising at the same time. Tuition's over here, and now they're both. Or sorry, tuition's up here. Now they're both going up together.
If you want to get control over tuition inflation, as the point the National Review is making, is you got to turn off the spigot. You can't. You're making the problem worse by just dumping money onto a problem that has a lot to do with inflation. So that's the financial part of it.
But she also wants colleges to be free. That's you eliminate the student loan debt, and then you make it free so that students don't collect more debt from student loans. Is that not simple enough for the smooth brains?
Second, there are a lot of working class people who chose not to go to college, who accepted a life of lower income,
yeah, and they're not going to be. That's why we're going after the rich, yeah, goofball.
Because they couldn't afford it, and they knew they couldn't.
Yeah, and now they can't afford it because Elizabeth Warren's going to come in here and make it free. If you think Elizabeth Warren's just going to come in here, eliminate the student loan debt, and then just leave it as it is now, you're really dumb.
Couldn't afford it, and they didn't want to take on the debt, and that seemed like a prudent and wise decision that a lot of people in the working class made. I can't afford it. I'm not going to buy it. So what you're now saying to them is that their prudent and wise decision to not buy something they couldn't afford was actually foolish. They are suckers yet again because they should have just went ahead and bought it because they wouldn't have to pay for it anyway.
Okay, well, now they don't have to pay for it because it's going to become free. And it's more of a, sorry you got fucked, we're solving the problem by making it free now.
They could have gone and not paid, is what you're telling them. They made that sacrifice for nothing. Student loan forgiveness is a plan that helps the upper class and screws the middle and lower classes where most non-college grads reside. So just think about it. This is a plan to bail out people who are, sometimes making $150,000, $180,000 a year, while those making $60,000 or $50,000 or $40,000 a year are still going to be stuck with all of their debts, house, car, credit card, whatever. So it's completely absurd. This is basically sometimes making $150,000, $180,000 a year, while those making $60,000 or $50,000 or $40,000. So just think about it. This is a plan. Student loan forgiveness is a plan that helps the upper class and screws the middle and lower classes where most non-college grads reside. So just think about it.
Yeah, except for the fact that you're then going to get free college so that the lower class can go. This is really so weird. Okay, so yeah, people who went to college went up to the upper classes because of education, but it's still wrong that they have student loan debt. So we want to eliminate that. Okay? Once that's eliminated, all people have access to the schooling because we're also going to make it free. If that's somehow worse for the lower class, okay.
This is a plan to bail out people who are, sometimes making $150,000, $180,000 a year, while those making $60,000 or $50,000 or $40,000 a year are still going to be stuck with all of their debts, house, car, credit card, whatever.
Yeah, and those making $100,000 would also have those same debts. They just have less of it because they went to school to pay it off, and we've discovered that it's immoral to have such a exorbitant student loan debt on top of your head. The people who didn't go to college haven't had to pay for that because you know that, like, you have to pay the loan back all the time, right? Like, they're just planning on removing what's left of their student loan repayment. It's not like they're getting all their money back. I mean, if that's true, then okay, maybe you have more of an argument. But like they've been paying interest on the loans. They're constantly paying it off. Like, so. Yeah, they're making more money, but they've also had to pay off interest on their student loans all the time, whereas the people in the lowest class that didn't go to school at all don't have to do that.
Completely absurd. This is basically, student loan forgiveness is essentially welfare for the upper class, because that's where
no, it's not actually.
Most college grads are. They're going to be.
I was gonna say no, because yeah, like that's a byproduct. They're middle class and up, whatever, because of a byproduct of their education. They got up there because of the education. They weren't there to begin with, and they were. I mean, probably some of them were to go to school, but now they're there because of their education. They're upper middle class, upper middle class, because of their education. So, eliminating the student loan debt and then making colleges free would give access to all people to the upper middle class, the access to being able to get there through schooling.
Upper middle class to upper class. Whereas the millions of people who did go to college oftentimes are lower middle to lower class. And so this is a plan that helps those people on the upper echelon while doing nothing for the people.
But why did they get there? Because of their schooling they went to. So if you give access to all people and you remove the student loan debt, which is just, it's literally just there to make money. There's no other reason why the student loan debt is so fucking massive. It's just to make money.
Who are below them. Third problem.
It's not directly I don't know what's going on.
What about all the people who went to college and paid their debts? Okay, what about the person who has just paid...
Oh, okay, so then, yeah, so it's literally just paying off your outstanding debt. Okay, so he's just a moron. Okay.
Last dime on their $100,000 debt and made all those sacrifices along the way and had to work very...
That sucks. It sucks that the system screwed them. It sucks. It certainly sucks the system screwed them. But you're not here advocating for them getting their money back, so why the fuck are you talking right now? Unless, of course, you're advocating for them getting their money back, which you would never do in a million years. I would agree with you. They should get their money back, because it sucks that the system fucked them. It sucks dick that the system fucked them. They should get their money back for everyone else is getting... Everyone ahead of them is going to get no tuition. Like, you know what? They decided to go to school and they paid off their fucking bills. Good job. They got fucked. They should get their money back. But you'll never, ever, ever in your entire existence advocate for that. So why the fuck are you talking about it right now?
Very hard to pay it off, and they did it. And now they're going to turn around and see that everyone else's debt is just wiped clean anyway.
Yep.
Is that not an injustice?
Maybe it is. So are you going to advocate for them getting their money back too? Probably not. So get the fuck out of here.
That not grossly unfair? Are you going to refund them? I mean, how can you possibly say,
Sure.
Think about the sacrifices that these, and there are many people going to be in this situation who are just on the verge of paying off their loans. Think about all the sacrifices they had to make. Think about how their life has been affected by this.
Yeah.
And now you're going
they got fucked by it. They got seriously fucked by the education system in the United States, which is predominantly your fault.
Just wipe everyone else's clean after do they get a refund is the question.
Sure. Why not? Fuck it. I'll stand right next to you if you advocate for that. We will both just we'll advocate for that together as one person.
How is it, equality under the law is supposed to be guaranteed. How is it equality under the law to give this massive unearned bonus to a certain segment of the population while everyone...
Bonus? Bonus? What kind of bonus? If my credit card debt was eliminated tomorrow, I don't have any actually. If my credit card debt was eliminated tomorrow, I wouldn't consider that a bonus. I would consider that a fucking, like, what? A bonus. Your debt being eliminated is a bonus? No. In terms of the schooling system, it's justice for you guys getting fucked for the past millennia. Well, not a millennia, probably 30, 40 years.
Everyone else is out of luck. Fourth problem. Even putting aside the financially disastrous effects of a plan like this, and putting aside how it screws the working class, and it screws people who are responsible for their debts in the first place, we're still...
Well, they just don't have a debt, so there's nothing to be repaid for, right? It doesn't screw them. They just... It makes no sense. It doesn't make any sense. Okay, so there's two of me. There's two clones. One of my other clone goes out and collects $10,000 in credit card debt. I never use my credit card, and I have $0 of credit card debt. It turns out that credit card company was doing some really fishy shit, and his credit card debt gets removed. I'm not affected by that at all. He got screwed out of some money for some, like, who knows what happened. He probably spent too much money as well, and he shouldn't spend money like that ever again. But now it's not possible because whatever happened with that credit card company being fishy doesn't happen anymore because they're fucking gone. I wonder how many fucking bumps he has on his fucking smooth brain.
Still left with a very simple fact. Nobody forces anyone to take on these loans. That's a choice.
Except for the only way to get up in the economic ladder, you literally admitted yourself that people who didn't go to college accepted a lower wage, like lower paying jobs. They accepted it. So you're saying that there's no choice, but what if someone needed that higher paying job? What if somebody needs or even just wants the higher paying job? Aren't you all for capitalism? Don't you want people to get up that ladder? And they can't do it when their debt outweighs their amount of money they'll ever fucking make.
Choice that you make. If you have student debt, you have it because you agreed to it. You signed.
Not really. That's like really not true. Let's fucking be honest here. High school is not sufficient for most jobs. College is the only way to get a sufficient career job to support a family. So that's just blatantly not true. Move on.
Dotted line. Now you can say, I was 19, I didn't know it. Okay, but you still made that choice.
See, this is the problem, right? Is anything you say making it seem that it wasn't actually a choice, like didn't know, it turns out they're actually getting screwed. Oh, well, you chose. Okay, well, nobody has libertarian free will, okay? You can't just make decisions because, nobody can just make, it's all a byproduct of, other factors. Nobody has libertarian free will, okay? All of the shit you do is based on other factors. So, you say that people chose to go to school, but no, they probably didn't. They probably needed that extra money. They took on that debt because they didn't have money to pay for the college in the first place, but they did it because they needed that higher paying job because they had a kid, and they had that kid probably because there's less access for contraception because you wanted to restrict the fuck out of that. So we can backtrack this all the way as far back as we want to realize that no one really has a choice in anything they do.
You made a legal agreement. Everything else aside, it is immoral for a third party, such as the government or Elizabeth Warren, to come in and say, oh, never mind, you don't have to fulfill your obligations and keep your promise.
It's immoral. No, it's immoral that the schools are allowed to just completely abuse the young American population.
just the very idea that Elizabeth Warren or Bernie Sanders or any of these Democrats, the very idea that they would say, I'm gonna forgive that loan. It's not for you to forgive. What do you mean you're gonna forgive it? You didn't grant the loan. It's not up to you to forgive it. And it's certainly not up to some other private citizen to have to come in and pay off the loan. Out of forgiveness. If you took the loan out, this is your responsibility.
Except for there's like other factors as to why they might have had to take that loan out. Well, they needed the education to get a better job so that they can pay for their family. Well, shit. That sounds like a really fucking hard decision. I wonder, should I die or should I go to school and take on the burden of endless debt?
And so that's really, that's what you have to explain. And this is my challenge, okay, to any college grads who are arguing for loan forgiveness. This is my challenge to you. Or if you're listening right now, this is what I want you to do.
I want you to find the nearest bridge.
Present a morally and logically sound argument explaining why some other citizen should be forced by the state to pay your debt that you assumed by choice for a product that you bought and will keep.
Here's an easy one. It's immoral to stop people from attending school and obtaining a higher education so that they can move up the socioeconomic ladder and attain more wealth. You as a capitalist should agree with this because you would also want to move up the ladder, and it appears that it was impossible in the past or very much a burden because of the exorbitant costs of schooling in the United States. So I believe it's a good idea that we lower those costs, if not eliminate the cost of college, so that everyone has the ability and full access to the higher tiers of capitalism, and at that point they may be able to make a decision on where they want to fall or let naturally take place wherever they fall on the socioeconomic ladder, instead of having these massive barriers between people that provoke classism and or potential racism because of things like the property tax funded schooling system that we have here in the United States. That is a big barrier for people like for people of color and other minority groups, because it turns out that a majority of minorities live within low income neighborhoods, so therefore they have less access to quality education because their schools are funded less because they have low property taxes, so therefore they have not a good quality form of education, and then when they want to move on to college or university, they cannot afford it, so now they're stuck at the lower echelons of society because of our broken schooling system. Oh, I did it!
That's what you have to explain, and maybe phrase it in exactly these terms. I believe someone else should be forced to pay my loans because, and then fill in the blank.
Okay, I think I filled in that blank. It's kind of a loaded question, but I think I filled in that blank. Substantially, actually.